Hello and welcome to another episode of Daily Market Mastery with me, Christian Rauchenwald, on this Tuesday afternoon. I hope you all had a great start into the new week. As always, before we jump into the markets, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Besides that, all the tools that I'm using, so the broker, the charting software, the strategy I'm following, and so on, are all linked in the video description down below. And the one thing I truly recommend, if you haven't done so, is go and check out the Elliott Wave principle, the strategy that I'm using, that you can read online for free when you're using the link in the description down below. And with all of that out of the way, we can jump directly into our portfolio, and we see that we have another slightly, or actually break-even start into the day. Not much changed. Yeah, we actually from here are going to go directly to the markets. Today is going to be interesting because we are going to see GameStop quarterly results, and as a result then they are going to report today after market close, and after that we expect obviously some movement here. Now, we talked about it yesterday. Personally, while visually this part here looks like a 1, 2, 3, potential 4 followed by wave 5 up, I actually believe that we're looking at a diagonal that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still get our wave 5 down to finish wave A of this correction, followed by wave B, followed by wave C, before we then go further up. Time will tell. So I guess today, or actually tomorrow, we will see if I'm right with that assumption. If I'm right today after earnings, although I expect positive earnings, but in the past already very often GameStop beating expectations and being slightly profitable still resulted in a drop in share value. No matter how ridiculous that sounds, it's how it is. And as said, I expect a drop today as well. Yeah, like to play something out like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get a wave 5 push. We might get lower than I originally expected in that wave A move in that case, but so be it. If I'm wrong, we would get confirmation that somehow the correction finished already here, and we would see 1, 2, 3, 4, and would actually make our way up here for wave 5. Yeah, and then after that, yeah, like I'll have to then adjust and revisit my labeling to figure out if we finish the wave 4 till here or not. As said, personally, I believe downward movement, correction not finished. This is only the first part of the correction, but today, after, or tomorrow, we should know more. And depending on that, we, yeah, like, I mean, there's not much we can do. I hold shares, and in this portfolio, I hold shares and covered or call options that I sold against it. So all I can do is wait for the options to expire here in January. And until then, basically hope that I'm right, which would be the best scenario for me. We go down, we go up, and before my options expire, either I can close them here for a relatively high portion of the premium already, or they expire here below 30, worthless, and I still get to keep the shares to sell more covered calls against. But as said, we'll know more tomorrow, so we'll just wait. Either way, for me, it's a win, because the worst case that happens to me is that I miss out on extra profit if we were to see a strong rally upwards. But for that, I also hold shares at computer shares, so either way, it's going to be fine with me. But preferably, I'm right with my labeling, obviously. Yeah. Now, moving on from GameStop, as usual, Barnes & Noble's or Barnes & Noble Education Inc. Yeah, we're still, did we get lower here? What did we have here? 939. Okay, that's actually, that spike here from actually a couple days ago. Didn't notice it yesterday. Yeah. Makes it, in quotes, not impossible, but means that the correction would need to be somehow like this, especially with that new high then here following. Either way, we're still bullish. So while I mentioned yesterday, labeling this here is a little bit of a mess, but we're fairly confident with the overall labeling that we have till here, which points towards two options: either correction finished here, and we have a bunch of guidelines and yeah, usual occurrences that confirm this for us, that from here we should expect 5 waves up, and the only alternative option would be that this is ABC, ABC, A, B, and then C, in which case we just temporarily would go lower and then we go up. So either way, we are fine. But overall, I expect actually that we are on the more likely scenario. Correction finished here, and we're now in our next upwards movement. At some point, we'll have to try to make sense of this, however, to get a proper profit target. But for now, we can just lean back and watch the movement. Moving on to grab. I mean, weekly chart, not much changed. So we're just waiting to see which of the levels we are going to break. I'm fairly certain we're right with the assumption that we have 1, 2, and we'll get wave 3 over the next couple of months to take us actually up here, where this would be the next potential 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But only time will tell. Immersion, unchanged, waiting for the break here. Cause unchanged, waiting like forever for a break either to the bottom here or to the top here to know more. Neo unchanged. We believe the bottom is here based on all the labelings and whatnot. And it looks like we might have the next wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 potentially done or in progress. 4, 5. So we should get another nice 5-wave move up. We can see our minimum profit target here and our maximum or current maximum assumption here. Novavax, as mentioned, so for my options, probably everything's going to be a little too late. They expire here on January 17th, but we expect correction finished here, 1, 2, and should now actually slowly see a strong upwards move in a third wave. But again, daily chart, so it will take another, I don't know, maybe by Christmas we know more, if I'm right or wrong. So, but it might not help with my option position. With that, we jump a little bit into crypto. Yesterday, we actually had the issue that what I didn't notice that the connection to Coinbase wasn't working, and therefore we didn't get yesterday's candles. But as I pointed out in Bitcoin, so with yesterday's candles, not a lot changes, but the point is, as I pointed out in Bitcoin, we have the option, the most likely one, that this is a flat correction, in which case we would expect that this wave hasn't finished yet and should go down till here or till the most here. Which means we would basically get either this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're now getting wave 5 for this move, and we don't have that one is not true anymore, so that one would be retracement. So, and we don't 78.6 might fit since we didn't get the data yesterday. So the other option is, or one of the other options is basically that this is A, B, and this is already the wave C move of that flat correction, because in this case, we hit the minimum target that the wave C has to reach. It's possible that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move in there, in which case this would potentially be the next wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and so on. So we'll have to keep an eye on. If we break this level here, we would have confirmation that indeed the correction finished here. So point C would be this point. And if we don't break it, then we can expect to go down as low as 88,705. For our position that we entered roughly here, it doesn't matter that much. It just means that we would hold it through that dip and maybe increase our position further. Especially if our other potential investments don't show more promising patterns. If we, for example, jump into XYO, here we are, as said, or where originally, okay, that we have to adjust, expecting that wave 4 drags on out and that we get another push down here. Now that we made a slightly higher point here, the assumption still stands. This could be A, B, C, followed by another push down. The tricky part here is that ignoring Kennedy channeling technique led me to sell for a profit, but still a little early around here. So missing out on 250% or so of extra gains. Thankfully not in a big amount, but still sucks a little bit. And now following Kennedy channeling technique, our wave 4 is only confirmed with the breakout of this channel. It's possible that the entire wave 4 is A, B, and C, perfectly hitting the 38.2 retracement. And that we are currently looking at the next 5 wave up for wave 5. However, it's also possible that this is, as said, Kennedy channeling technique would suggest that we are now only here in wave 4 officially. And if that's the case, we would expect another push further down. And the problem or challenge here is obviously that if we get another push further down, we look at like easily 30 to 50% that we would have to suffer through. before we might get the next push. Whereas in Bitcoin, while there our profit target is smaller as a percentage, the temporary risk is also only in the like 10% range that we would have to suffer through. Hence, our money currently stays in Bitcoin, even if this turns out as a flat correction, rather than jumping back here or now. Yeah, if we break the high that we had at wave 3, then obviously we would be in quotes late to the party. But I rather miss out on the upwards push here or jumping late than risking a third or half of the capital by seeing another drop down here. And yeah, XRP, we're waiting or expecting, as said, a couple weeks of sidewards movement to move us out of this channel here, to also confirm that we're in wave 4 before we get a 5th wave push. So yeah, nothing happening here. Storage, we actually would expect, I mean, we hit the minimum target here, but not the bigger minimum target. So actually expect more upside. Our take profit is at 80 cents, so slightly below the actual minimum target that we have. And yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see. If we break the 39 to the bottom, then I made a mistake somewhere along the way. Then this would need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. However, then the challenge would be how this is a 3-wave move. So right now still bullish, and I think there is more upside movement, but there we already have a position, and therefore we just wait for it to hit our target or to hit levels where we have to relabel and potentially either decide to hold longer or to decide to get out of the position. HNT, as said, more upside in my opinion. We probably finished our correction here, so we hit the minimum target and are now in the next 5 waves up, especially considering that strong start here. So more upside there. I don't have any sell orders or so we'll just enjoy and wait. And Ethereum, we hit all our profit targets here. I mean, I know there's a little bit chaotic, but we labeled this as basically wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 hitting the 2618. So now we're getting a wave 4, and then after that wave 4, this one here, after that wave 4, that should potentially go down to 3,315. We would get a wave 5 move. Yeah, I only hold very, very little Ethereum, so I don't care that much about it, but we're going to keep an eye on it and eventually zoom out and relabel a little bit more, because obviously on the weekly chart, that's a mess to see through. Bitcoin we covered, Crow we don't care. Algorand now potentially in wave 4 territory. So we see theoretically, based on Kennedy channeling technique, we would need a breakout through this channel, but just looking at it, it looks like, oh no, like we covered yesterday. So while we have a corrective move here, we did not hit our usual targets. So I don't think that we might get to see this level. This might be the entire correction, and it might just be a correction along the way that's followed by another upwards move to hit the level here. Again, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. Please do your own research. Don't bet your house because I'm saying that I believe that we will hit that level. Yeah, and then if we move on, the usual suspects, DJT still moving slightly upwards. There might be another push down for A, B, and C. Then we will go like ballpark 32 something, 32.50 before we move further up. Or let's check if we finished 5 waves here, we would expect 32.77. Yeah, so and if this is an ABC corrective move, so a 3-wave corrective move, then we see we have an overlap. So minimum target 33.69, 32.23. So 32.77 would be a potential good point for an entry. Although, in my opinion, the company is hugely overvalued. It's just the pattern that I see on the chart. And with that, what's Fro doing? There we hit our retracement targets. Yeah. We don't have updates here for. It says 1525, but we don't have updates here for. Is there a trading? Frontline Inc. News. Let's check here. Frontline Inc. stock. Somewhere is also a chart or not. Chart, new chart. So we have the data till here, and some. Are we looking at a weekly chart or not? Yeah, that might be the reason. Yeah, of course, weekly chart. Yeah, never mind. So that's for the entire week. So yeah, we're still fine. Yeah, so technically correction could be done here, especially as like A, B, C. Could also be that it's a bigger one, but we were right calling the drop from the earnings. So, and we hit our first profit target. Second one would actually be here, 1341. If we hit that one, then we might go much lower. Then it might turn out to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. But anyway, right now there's no point to jump in any way. The right point was when we originally pre-earnings pointed out, or when I originally pre-earnings pointed out that based on the pattern, I expect to drop further down. Unfortunately, I didn't have available capitals, and we analyzed it pre-market before the earnings, so also no chance to buy some cheap options or something, but that's the way it looks like. Fossil, what did we have here? We didn't break the 261. So 261.8, we broke the 261.8, but we didn't make it to the 361 so far. Question is if this is the entire correction and we're going further up. Either way, there is more upside. So while there temporarily might be downside, but this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 3 maybe not finished as said, and then 4 and 5, either 4, 5, or 3 goes up, 4, and then 5. So there should be more upside here. And yeah, what's NVIDIA doing? Okay, we're recovering a little bit. I think I said there will be another push to 130. That would be a fitting area for finishing of this retracement. Might be wrong, but we'll see. SMCI, okay, dropping a little bit. I said I believe that this might be the end of a 3-wave corrective wave, and we now get the remaining 5 waves down to around $5. And Intel, we don't have an opinion at the moment because of how it played out here. Although it now broke the retracement level, so that's interesting, yeah. So didn't expect that based on this move. I actually would have thought it will go a little bit higher here, but we were right here. So called the bottom, called the top, just happened within one candle. But now this here is a little bit, yeah, not problematic, but this makes this here in a 3-wave ABC move, where we also hit our minimum target, which means technically we are right now looking at a further downward trend in Intel. No guarantees here. I said like this part here makes the labeling a little bit confusing, where this might be wave 1, and then we have 1, 2, no. Or this would need to be wave 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this might be wave 2 or 2, yeah, 2 till here. And then we have the next 1, 2, 3. So there's more downside for Intel right now on the chart. Again, no guarantees here because, again, this one candle that does so many things at once is a little bit problematic. Yeah, so good of me to point out that I'm not sure about, or not 100% sure about the pattern because of that candle, because it turned out, if I would have said, yes, it's definitely like this, then I would have looked like a fool right now, but the way it is, I'm actually quite happy. And yeah, I think with that, RTX, we expect more downward movement, pointed out 50, oh, actually, we're now in the area where I think entries might be reasonable, although the risk-reward ratio is horrible, so yeah, probably not worth stamping in, or stepping in, but if you have a position right now, it's the area where we should start to see a turnaround. If we fall below 54.94 and then 51.89, that would be a point to consider, in my opinion, to consider getting out, because then we exceed both target areas, and if we don't have a turnaround by then something's clearly wrong with my pattern, and we should go further down. But yeah, I think with that, we summarized most of the things, or actually circle back for a second. There we go. So the one thing to keep track of today for me will be GameStop, or actually today after hours and tomorrow pre-market. But as said, I personally, yeah, like, well, I hope it plays out the way I expect it to, because it would be most beneficial for my returns. I'm fine either way, but I expect that we see some movement after the quarterly results are announced. So either to the top or to the bottom, but again, I expect it to be to the bottom. Before we then get a little bit recovery and then another 5 waves down. Yeah, so other than that, there's not much to watch, at least for my portfolio, considering that our biggest exposure is in GameStop at the moment. And yeah, that's it. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you were able to take something away from today's stream. As always, don't forget, like, subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss out on future episodes. And with that, I'm going to wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and then see you all tomorrow with another episode of Daily Market Mastery. Till then, bye-bye.